Hello and welcome to this COMP3218 game design and development video from the University of Southampton. My name is Tom Brown. I am one of the lecturers on the course and I am joined today by one of our demonstrators, Johan. We're going to be looking at some more of our students' coursework. One thing to point out, this year a lot of the courseworks are done in groups of threes, but we've also got some smaller groups, so we'll be taking that into account as we do the marking. But before we get into the first game, Johan, could you tell us a little bit about what we asked the students to do for this coursework?
Yeah, okay. So they basically were asked to make a game, choose a main core dynamic, and try to tutorialize it in a way that works.
Excellent. So, let's have a look at our first game. All right, and this is our first game, Scoundrels Adrift. I really like that title. We've got a nice title screen, we've got some ambient music. I will say we're having to play this in the Unity editor rather than the build, because it turns out the controls in the build were wildly sensitive. So we're going to be trying this in the editor. Hopefully it still works out okay. So we've got start, map, and exit. Let's look at the map to start with, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah,
I guess it's this like level select, in which case we'll just hit start and see where we go. So, find the warp beacon. WASD to navigate around asteroids. Ah yes, controls are much smoother. That looks like a warp beacon over there if ever I saw one. Ooh, that's still a little bit sensitive. F2 warp. Nice little warp sound effect. Shoot or be shot. But how do I shoot? How do I shoot, Johan? Oh no, I've been shot.
It doesn't... Oh no. Try them.
Let's try just clicking buttons. And yeah, there we go. So it's interesting that they specify, WSD to move. They don't tell me how to shoot, but that's okay. Oh no, there's more of them. It's not okay. So they say WAS and D, or was it just WAD? Because I can't seem to go backwards.
I think it was WASD.
What if I don't shoot? What if I just go straight to the warp beacon? Ooh, okay, right click for a shield. Cool. Ooh, the controls are still pretty squirrely. I can't like strafe or anything like that, and as I can't go backwards. Oh no, I can go backwards now. I couldn't go backwards before, but I can in this level.
That's...
Okay.
Looking for the...
So I've got my health down there in the bottom left. I also seem to have a...
Is that fuel? Yeah, maybe.
There it goes. Oh, I'm out of fuel. So I'm just...
Okay, I see. So you have a limited amount of...
Okay,
fuel.
Bouncing into asteroids, bad. Ooh. Oh, you can find fuel in asteroids.
Oh,
maybe they'll teach that later.
I mean, yeah, we hope so. Wow.
Okay. Is that... No, that is solid. Got some different kinds of enemies. So our goal is still to find the warp thing, right? We don't actually need to shoot. Oh, we've got some sort of invisible wall here as well. Oh wait, no, I shouldn't just be demonstrating the invisible wall because I've only got so much fuel. Oh no.
I guess only some of them.
Okay. Oh, that's a big one. But again, I don't need to fight any of these. In fact, it's pretty detrimental to me to fight anything, right? Because I'm just wasting fuel for no reason.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Is that
Oh, that's so. This one I can fly over. My fuel's... Ooh, no, that's an invisible wall there, and now I'm out of fuel. Okay, so I think the balance in some of this might be a little bit off, but overall, it's pretty functional. Like, it's certainly a game.
Yeah.
That's a big one. So, with that in mind, let's start looking through the mark scheme. So, we'll start off with quality of the game overall, and specifically start with presentation.
Which includes graphics. Yeah, graphics, audio, information design, etc.
So, graphics-wise, graphics and audio, I think are quite good. You know, you got a nice sort of pixely background, nice. Yeah.
Very, I mean, it sounds like space and all that, and the audio effects, from what I can hear, sound pretty good.
Yeah, and in terms of the graphics, like nice pixely background, like there's a bit of a difference in the resolution of the background and the ships and the asteroids, but very, very minor. Mostly they work together quite nicely. It's not like we have an HD 3D model and a bunch of pixel art, so that all works together. The information design mostly is fine. We've got our health and our fuel in the bottom left. I realise it's probably getting cut off a little bit in the recording. But otherwise that's perfectly clear. We've got a nice bit of feedback whenever we get shot or when we do some shooting. Like the sprite flashes red, it's obvious we've taken damage, which is nice. The shield's very clear when it's active and when it's not. Might be useful to know how long the shield will last for. So like, if it starts flashing a bit as it's about to time out. The main problem with the information design is navigation. And I don't know if that's partly because the goal is to find it's about exploring and trying to find the warp beacon or whatever, or it's about things like the fact that the edge of the map isn't very clear, and also the current goal isn't I feel like I've played this level a couple of times and I've not found any warp beacon yet, so I don't know if I'm just supposed to be destroying asteroids or destroying enemies, or what my goal is.
Oh, almost.
Maybe it's hidden in one of these asteroids. I am pretty much almost dead. Oh, there we go. So overall, what would a good on this mark scheme be for presentation?
So that would be professional, which is complete and effective. And I feel like they're not there, or not fully there.
No, I have to agree. I think the sound and the graphics are probably there, but the information design is a little bit lacking at points. So what would a satisfactory be?
That's workable, which is effective, but some inconsistencies, which I think it's there.
Yeah, I think that is probably a good description of it. Like, particularly because the information design of your immediate goal is pretty important, and some of the navigation stuff. Would you say it's at the satisfactory level, or would you say it's between a satisfactory and a good?
I think it's at the satisfactory level for this.
Yeah, I think I agree. Now, if I can find my way out of this level, I might change my mind about that. But for now, I think.
For example, it's I guess exploration, but it's a huge space, or like a very big space, and you haven't found any.
There's not a lot of landmarks.
Yeah. So, for example, maybe I don't know if that would ruin the core dynamic of the game, but you could have like a compass or something that points to the vicinity or something like that, so in general maybe the direction.
We're going to have a discussion about the core dynamic later, because I'm not sure it is supposed to be exploration, but we'll talk about that in a moment. So next on our list is actually, before we move on, another thing about the navigation, like it's difficult to tell which planets you can fly over and which ones you bump into. But next is mechanics and meaningful play. So what are their mechanics? How well does it control? Is it fun and engaging? So I mentioned we're playing this in the editor rather than the build because the controls in the build don't work. They're still quite twitchy in this. You've probably seen me like struggling to sort of aim perfectly, but other than that, they are functional. Like, you know, I can move around, I've got my shield, all of that kind of works quite well. In terms of additional mechanics, we've got a couple of different types of enemy. I'm not quite sure how their like behavior changes, but it looks like they've got slightly different amounts of health. We've got our fuel that's ticking down, and it's ticking down based on movement, it looks like. Was my shield? No, my shield doesn't take fuel, which is good. Oh, there's a cooldown on the shield as well, which I wasn't aware of. But I guess that makes sense. Does my laser? My laser doesn't use fuel. Maybe I've got to be careful and more methodical about this. I'm beginning to suspect, though, there is not a warp point in this last level. So maybe
is this the last level?
I mean, I assume so because I can't figure out how to get by. I tell you what we'll do. We'll go back to that map. We will we'll just skip straight to the last level and see if that's what it is.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, I think this is the last level, which I think means we're effectively in endless mode, maybe.
Yeah, free play.
But it's kind of a shame that it is, although the fact that, you know, when we lose, we just get a game over, go to the next thing. Like, I don't know what the goal of the last level is. Should I be trying to mine as many asteroids? Should I be trying to shoot as many bad guys? Should I just sit here and stay alive for as long as possible? You know? We'll talk about that in a second, but I'm getting distracted again from meaningful play. Overall, I think up to this last level, so let's go back right to the start, mostly it's fine. They've got a decent set of mechanics that work decently well together. It's a bit of a shame that, again, this ties into that goal and the core dynamic. It's a bit of a shame that we can just skip by most like enemies in the tutorial. So, for example, like shoot or be shot, I don't have to. I can just go straight to the beacon and skip over that. Yeah. But in terms of the basic mechanics of find a warp beacon, don't get shot on the way, yeah, that controls relatively well. Okay, so let's start off by, you know, what would a satisfactory require on the mark scheme?
So we have playable, which is fewer mechanics, usable controls, and may have some minor bugs. So let's see, usable controls, you said they were a bit twitchy.
A little bit, yeah.
And the mechanics, so we have shooting, we have health, fuel, shield.
Yeah, so I think we're easily at the satisfactory. What would they need to do to hit good level?
Okay, so for good, we need multiple mechanics, smooth controls, and reasonable complexity.
And you know what? I think, given like the scope of this game, I think they're probably there. Like maybe partway between the two, but they do have
partway maybe.
Yeah, but
yeah, it's the controls, I guess. That
the controls aren't perfectly smooth, and they've got a number of different mechanics, but the fact that they aren't necessarily what's the word I'm looking for? Like the enemies is a great example. The fact that we can just bypass them entirely, we don't have to engage with that particular set of mechanics, is a little bit of a shame.
Yeah, that's
like if it was a case of, you know, kill all enemies to activate the warp core or whatever, then the player would be not only incentivized but forced to engage with all of the gameplay available. Whereas as it is, I never need to use my shield if I just keep running away from all the enemies. So I think halfway between the two feels about right for this.
Yeah.
So next, what is next?
It's the actual brief, so the level design, let's say, for the first bit, and specifically goals, risks, and rewards, which is...
Oh, there is a warp point.
Oh, is that in the...
Okie doke. So there was a goal. It was so that goes to show how difficult that was to find.
Yeah.
But okay, we found it in the end, so we have seen the whole game. Again, be nice if there was an ending screen or just like a thing that instead of saying game over said you won, but that's a little bit of polish we can overlook. So goals, risks, and reward. We've kind of already said the goal isn't hugely well.
Well, the goal is very clear. Just get to the. Actually, is it clear?
Well,
Get to the.
It was clear until that last level where I wasn't sure if there was one. Turns out I just couldn't find it. But given that it's the first thing they teach you is get to the warp. I forgot what it's called now. The warp core, the warp station, whatever it is. Get to that. That's a pretty clear goal. So okay, they have a clear goal. Risk versus reward. Now they've almost. Ooh, I managed to get to the warp point after I died there. There's the bones of a risk and reward system here of do I spend time searching? Do I spend time searching for the warp point? Do I spend time shooting asteroids for fuel? Do I spend time fighting with the enemies? But the enemies themselves you can pretty easily bypass. There's no real reward for fighting them. It's kind of just a detriment because you're using fuel for no reason when you could just be searching. The trickiest, but there is an element of risk versus reward in how far do I try and search before finding fuel?
Yeah.
Because but again, it's difficult to map that out in your head because there's a bit of fuel over there. It's not always obvious which asteroids have fuel in. So am I going to go out of my way? See, there's no fuel there. So would it have been better to keep going? Like it's not a decision that the player is 100% in control of, or rather they're making the decision on limited information. It's not very clearly signposted about how far away the warp point is, so how much fuel you need to set aside versus which asteroids are likely to have fuel in, so what the actual risk of that's going to be. I guess in a way it's quite a lot of risk but not a commensurate reward, I think. But if we look at the mark scheme, so a pass would be a limited set of goals, risks versus rewards. Satisfactory would be a coherent set. A good would be a clear and coherent set. And I think we, just in that little description that we had of it, I think we've basically nailed it to satisfactory, right? There is absolutely a coherent set of goals, risks, and rewards, but it's not as clear as it could have been.
Yeah.
Cool. What about pacing?
Pacing.
So both like between levels and like within each level.
That's. I mean, it clearly has more things happen.
Yeah. In terms of like the overall structure, like we've got we start off with infinite fuel. All we're doing is navigating the asteroids. Then we introduce, limited fuel. We introduce enemies. In fact, we introduce enemies and then fuel, or do we do it at the same time? Let's have a quick look. But they definitely start escalating things. I would say they don't really have a big climactic end to their game. The last level is basically just, is it the previous level, but more space?
Bigger. Yeah.
And again,
I mean, in this case, what would work as a climaxing? What do you think? Like, that's a difficult.
Again, it's kind of the issue of the goals, risks, and rewards again, right? Because you can avoid so many of the mechanics, and it's just a case of fly in a straight line to the exit. It's very difficult to build that kind of tension and that kind of climax.
Pretty much, yeah.
So, more ways to either encourage or even force the player to engage with other mechanics would give them a better way of building and then maintaining and then peaking that tension. So I think again, if we look at the mark scheme, a pass would be it somewhat rises over time, a satisfactory would be the tension clearly rises over time, and a good would be that it rises in a coherent pattern. Again, to me, this feels kind of like a satisfactory. Like, we're definitely, the first level is a lot more tame than the last level. There's a lot more stuff going on than the last level. There's a lot more danger and risk and challenge in the last level. But because of some of those things we've mentioned, there isn't that necessarily coherent pattern. There's not that sort of clear final climax to the game. Which brings us on to tutorial. So let's quit out of this and restart it just so that we can see it again from fresh. In terms of the tutorial, there we go. They introduce most of the concepts pretty well, and they do it like relatively gradually. They don't just dump all of it on the player. So find the warp beacon. Once we find the warp beacon, it tells us press F to warp. Yeah, nice introductory start. I particularly like that they give us infinite fuel in the first level.
Yeah, that was I didn't notice that, but that's a good choice.
This one is, they don't tell you the shooting control, which is a bit of an issue, but we figured it out in the end. You still can use your shield, even though it's not. But you also can't go backwards in this level, which is a little strange. Can you go backwards in the first level? Because I'm pretty sure it says WASD. So maybe that's just a minor bug, or maybe it was something that they disabled because it wasn't an important part of what they were trying to tutorialize. I don't know. WASD, yeah. Okay, so it is just that level that you can't reverse in. So maybe that's just a bug.
That's strange, yeah.
But again, so yeah, two main issues with this part of the tutorial. One, they don't tell you how to shoot, and two, you don't actually need to shoot. You can just rush straight to the end. They don't make you actually engage with that mechanic, and again, we've already talked about that so far. Same kind of issue with this one, but again, they are gradually drip feeding some of the information, and they are doing it sort of through play. So they don't force the player to demonstrate their knowledge and understanding of the mechanic, but they do give them a space to try those things out at least. Can I? No, not quite.
Yeah. And after the shield, is there anything else? What was the next level?
I think the next level is just kind of throws you right into it. So I don't think there's any more tutorial. It's just a bigger space to explore, a couple more enemies, and you're into the game proper. So it feels to me like we are sort of again at the satisfactory level, because we've got a gradual explanation of the gameplay and controls, and it's somewhat aligned with play. They give you a little sandbox, well, not a sandbox, but a level to test out the mechanic. But I wouldn't say that it is fully aligned with play, because you can just skip through and ignore it. I also wouldn't say it's necessarily communicate. Actually, that's a point. They also never teach you that there's fuel inside asteroids, right?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's a good point.
Which feels like, again, we'll talk about this in a second, but I have a suspicion that could be a pretty key part of their core dynamic. So it is a bit odd that they don't teach that. So, does that change what I think about this?
I mean,
no, I think it's. I think it's still a satisfactory, again, given the scope of the game and all. That might be a little bit generous, but they are teaching some of the mechanics. They are somewhat aligned with play. But yes, they're certainly not fully aligned with play, and I don't think they're teaching all of the key features either. They're also not really communicating through the level design. They're being very explicit about their tutorial and just saying, press this button to do this, and that's it. I guess they kind of do it by structuring, the first level as not having any enemies, but really I think we're at the satisfactory level, and even then that's overlooking the fact that they haven't tutorialized perhaps some key features. But okay.
I mean, in that case, do you think it would be like in between pass and satisfactory just because of that? Would it?
I mean,
because for example, look at poor, which is some explanation of gameplay and control. So the fact that it's some makes me go like, oh, I mean, it's not poor, definitely. It's just that the wording there, and then gradual explanation of gameplay.
You are right that such a given that they've got this nice mechanic of fuel management, it is strange that they don't tutorialize that. So yeah, maybe it puts them between a pass and satisfactory in that case, because you're right, it is a bit of an oversight to not tutorialize such a key mechanic.
I mean, I can see how choosing not to tutorialize a mechanic can be a choice. Like, I can see how letting the player find out the mechanics themselves is a way to do it, but I don't think in this case... Yeah.
Okie doke. So, given I believe this was a group of less than 3, so let's err on the side of generosity of spirit, and again within the context of that, say the stuff they've tutorialized has some alignment with play, but yes, they might have overlooked some things. But I think for that we keep it as satisfactory. The next bit, however, when we're talking about core dynamic. So core dynamic is what is the fun bit about the game, what is the thing that makes the player keep coming back to it. All of the mechanics should support that core dynamic. So you already said you thought the core dynamic might be exploration. What have they said in the game notes that they've handed in as part of the deliverable?
So I said exploration at the start when I was looking, and the more you play, the more I realize that it's probably not. And it's more survival, and they do say survival. So they say the core dynamic is survival extended through exploration and resource collection.
Oh yeah, resource management. So this is the thing. I'm not convinced. It has some of the trappings of survival. Maybe it is. So I was about to say a common trapping of survival games is you have some kind of high score, like the amount of time that you've spent alive or the amount of enemies that you've killed, and your goal is to survive long enough to beat your high score. And you've got some kind of resource that is constantly ticking down, like health or fuel, and you're trying to keep that up for as long as possible. Now they have elements of that, like the fuel that's ticking down, the health that's ticking down, but you're not trying to survive as long as possible. You're just trying to get to the warp point, and that's it, you win. Which is the thing. So I can see that they are... Again, I will give the benefit of the doubt that, it definitely has a survival focus, but the problem is I'm not sure it's well supported by the mechanics. Their mechanics are pulling it in too many different directions. They've got some amount of exploration, some amount of kind of resource management, but I think that's really part of their survival dynamic. But they've also got elements of destruction. They've put, combat in there and enemies and things like that isn't... Again, the goal is not to survive as many waves of enemies. The goal is just to get to the exit.
Yeah, which is... I guess you could say it's a race to the end in a way. But not really.
Again, it would be missing some of the features of that. But you absolutely could make an argument that it was that. So a satisfactory would be a clear core dynamic, partially supported by the primary mechanics. A pass would be an attempt at a core dynamic, but not well supported. It feels like we're kind of at the pass level for this. But again, the smaller group, I would be inclined to say it's part way between the two. But basically because they have the fuel resource that is ticking down, and that is kind of... Even that, I will perhaps say is a little generous. But I don't think it's a case that the dynamic isn't clear, because I mean, you yourself said, yes, at first I thought it was exploration, and then I decided it's probably survival. So you did recognize it.
Yeah.
It's just that they have perhaps their supporting dynamics are perhaps taking away some of the focus from the main dynamic, and similarly with the mechanics, they're sort of they're not all pulling together in the same direction. They're sort of pulling in a number of different directions. So I think between a pass and a satisfactory probably is where we are for that.
Yeah, okay.
So, last but by no means least, one element of the deliverable is we ask them to, we give them some feedback on their game during development. We ask them to respond to that feedback and talk about how they interpreted it, what changes did they make, and then we judge whether those were successful or not. So, let's take a quick look at what they've said.
I don't think they've actually said anything.
No, they haven't. They have left that part of the game notes blank, unfortunately. So, unfortunately, that just ends up being it is
absent.
Absent, yeah. Okay, so with that, overall a very functional game. Like, I particularly like the controls are a little bit squirrely, but overall it all controls really nicely. I like that they have a number of different mechanics, but it does feel a little bit like they're not all serving the same core dynamic. But I think with a little bit of extra work, you could absolutely refine this and turn it into either a really good survival game, or a really good combat game, or a really good exploration game. Like, it's got a lot of potential. All right, let's move on to our next game. All right, and our second game is it's called Puzzle Platformer.exe, but I believe the actual name is Switch Quest. So we don't have a title screen for this. We are thrown right into the action. Let me just grab my volume mixer and just bring that down a little bit, because we've got some music, some pretty recognizable music. I hope it's open source and licensable, otherwise we're going to get flagged. Okay, so we're a funky little guy in a mask. A and D to move. Okie doke. And hey, it's contextual, so it goes away once we've moved. That's kind of nice.
Yeah.
I like the way that the camera pan straight to the wall. Yeah, so it fixes here, and then follows it again. That's kind of a nice little bit of polish. Space to jump. Oh no, I forgot to jump, and now I'm in a hole. Whoop. I can actually double jump. So again, there we go. So enforcing us to understand the different mechanics through the level design, which is nice. Tab to change character. Left control to shrink yourself. Ooh, I'm blue now. I'm red now. Normal now. So if I go to red, I can't shrink myself. So I guess I have to be blue to shrink myself.
Okay.
So again, that kind of works, and including it into the level design might be worth. Would it be worth locking the character you can switch to start with, just so you don't get confused and keep trying to switch as red? It's probably fine. So yeah. Can't push this red block, but I bet if I switch again, there we go.
Yeah, that's nice.
Red,
making the box red and the character red.
And red can't double jump. So if I back, hey, that's a nice mechanic. S to drop through platforms, but what if I don't? But okay, I can go back through here. So not only does it show you can drop down through them, but it shows that you can jump up through them. We've got a checkpoint. Walk on spikes for good fortune. If you say so, tutorial. Oh no! Luckily there was a checkpoint there. Again, kind of a nice touch. They might be going I can keep making it go ding. So I know we've got to focus on tutorials for this particular coursework. It is perhaps there are some assumptions that you can perhaps make about what your players know, and knowing that spikes are bad is probably an assumption you can make. But you know what, I'm not gonna be too nitpicky about it. And then we're gonna put it all together. So got to jump, we got a platform, I've got to shrink, got to switch back. Oh, that's some small platforms.
But from what I see, the controls look responsive.
Okay, let's can't push this one, but I bet I can push this one. Yeah, they are. So it's one of these things where I'm gonna be struggling to talk because I'm doing a platform. Continue through here. Okay, and then
and now actually.
Oh, we've got different paths now.
Interesting.
Which way should we go? What's our goal?
I mean, I guess we can explore for now.
Yeah, I guess there's a checkpoint over here. Let's go this way. Oh, the fact that it spawns you onto the spikes is a bit worrying, but it didn't insta-kill me, so that's good. Move this over here. Okie doke. So, yeah, in terms of mechanics and controls, we'll talk about it as we go through the mark scheme step by step, but it feels pretty good. He says, holding onto some spikes. Ooh, now.
Now you have to.
Do I have to jump and small? Jump and small. Yeah. There we go. There's a lot of different paths, and the problem is I'm not sure where I'm supposed to be going. Ooh.
Oh wow! Okay, that's.
I mean, credit where credit's due. They've designed a big level, but I don't know where I'm supposed to be going, or really what I'm supposed to be doing. Like in the case of Mario or something like that, even when there are like branching paths, you're pretty much always going to the right at least. I've got a horrible feeling I may even have soft-locked myself here. No, I can get back up there. Good. Do I need to push this down? No. Can I push this across? So we've gone from...
And you need another box, I think. So you can push it there, and then... Yeah. And I saw a box at the top.
What's that? Okay, let's go back up there. So we've graduated from platformer to puzzle platform.
Yeah.
There's quite a bit of backtracking to find a box if there is one up here. Oh, I was worried that would happen. Ah.
Oh.
But there was a checkpoint. That's unfair.
That's a bug. Yeah.
Probably just a bug. Okie doke. Oh, we've run out of music as well. It's a shame that that's not on a loop.
Are there sound effects, or because I don't
think there's sound, which is a bit of a shame. And again, like it's a little bit of a shame because it's usually relatively easy to add, like just a bit of juice, as they call it, like a little jump effect or a little death effect or something like that. But well, it is what it is. Let's.
Yeah, there's the box. So I guess from the top, if you go from the top, from that path that we, because I don't see any other way. And also, weren't there? I remember there being like dings for the checkpoint.
Oh, there were. Okay, there was a sound effect. You're right.
I think you need, double jump here.
Okay, and then
I think the red box. Oh, yeah, it's there.
Oh no! Maybe I need to be tiny again for that. Again, one of those games where I'm going to be quiet because I'm too busy platforming. That's usually a good sign. But let's start talking about the mark scheme. We've already sort of talked about presentation a little bit, but let's... Oh, I forgot I couldn't double jump. Let's talk about that.
Yeah?
Oh. Uh-oh.
Oh. Oh, no.
Small bug. Let's try that again.
I guess let's
start with graphics. Yeah. So Oh, and there's no way to skip the tutorial. So one thing that's usually important is, veteran players don't want to go through a tutorial every time unless it's nicely integrated with the rest of your game. So a title screen might be nice there, but again.
So are there sound effects now? Yeah, I can hear.
You're right. Okay, maybe they just break when we change scenes.
Maybe they just haven't added an audio listener to the other scene, maybe, I don't know. But that's a plausible explanation.
But yeah, so quite right.
I mean, they have, as this level shows, they do have sounds and stuff, so... But yeah, okay, so graphics-wise, I think that it...
Yeah, all pretty consistent, right?
Yeah.
Sound, you're right, we've got music and sound effects, although it breaks a little bit, although I guess we'd call that a minor bug rather than a presentation issue. What about information design?
Yeah. Well, for example, this here, the box is red and you have to be red to be able to push it. I think that's good information.
Yeah, like it's very clear what form we're in. The fact that they link the boxes. In fact, you know what? Let's go this way just for a change.
Yeah. Maybe there's a power up.
Or an Easter egg. Oh, or just a brick wall. That is what you would call false agency. I'm not sure I like that. Because that made us very confused about what our overall goal was.
At the start, yeah.
But okay, so let's keep going this direction and see what we see. So in terms of, and you're right, the sound has stopped in just this scene. So we'll call that a bug rather than a. Oh, I have soft locked myself, or no, I can get up here still. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, graphics are nice. The sound design when it's working is pretty nice. I don't know if. Would you say the music is a fitting choice for the for the style of game they've gone for? It kind of works. It's maybe not the one I would have chosen, but it
quirky,
works.
But yeah. It's not like a super action cinematic soundtrack. So yeah, it fits.
Okay.
Which
information design we sort of already talked about. Like it's pretty clear what a spike is. It's pretty clear what a platform is, and so on. So overall, I would say we're at least up in the good. What would they need to do to get a professional level?
Let's see. So for excellent, they need complete, effective, and appealing.
Would you say it hits that?
Well, so a good would be just complete and effective. So the appealing part is the added thing. I mean,
it's close
from
to
what I can see.
I would be inclined to say that, unfortunately, because the sound breaks, I don't know whether it quite reaches there. Ooh.
You had to put the box there already, so that when it fell, it was on top, and you could push it on the right.
Have I soft locked myself completely? Oh dear.
Yeah. But yeah, okay. In terms of the game, of the graphics and presentation, do you think in between good and excellent, or?
I think so. Yeah. I think if we overlook the bug in the sound for the meaningful play, we should probably just be aware of it here. But overall, yeah, I think they're a good set of assets that they've put together quite nicely.
Yeah. Let's see. Then that leads us to meaningful play.
I mean, like I already said, I keep getting distracted from talking because I'm too busy thinking about playing, so it's a good sign. let's have a look at the mark scheme. Meaningful play. So controls-wise, controls pretty well. I'm glad that based on the control scheme that they've chosen, I'm glad that I don't have to like switch characters mid-jump or anything like that. It's more a case of thinking things through, making the switch, and then executing it. Because I think I might struggle with that, but as it is, yeah, the controls work pretty well.
Okay.
There is technically a serious bug that we fell through the world, but it's only happened once. But what about mechanics? So we've got the obviously moving, jumping, standard platformer stuff like spikes, and we've got the switching. So they do have a number of different controls. Are they? So I would say it's reasonably complex. Would you say that the mechanics are complementary?
That's I mean, they're definitely not non-complementary.
Yeah, I think they work together quite well. Like, I don't. Would you say it's higher complexity?
Kinda. So
I think it's getting there. I don't think there's necessarily like a full set of mechanics that, you know, like they've got a good combination of mechanics that work well together. I don't think they have like a very complex set, which is fine. It's a prototype, but I think that probably means they are part way towards excellent rather than fully there. So I would say between a good and an excellent.
And also the no bugs bit in excellent.
Actually, that's a good point. So we did have one absolutely game-breaking bug, but we haven't run into it since, which is good.
Yeah. So in between is good.
So, level design. So goals, risks, and rewards. Now beyond my little nitpick of why is there a branch going to the left? What am I supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
Like now that we've resolved that, I would say there's a pretty clear goal.
Yeah, just continue.
Always obvious how to achieve it, but yeah, get to the end of the level. Standard goal, very a classic, you might say.
Yeah.
How we achieve that isn't always 100% now. I don't want to do that yet, do I? I want to go down here.
Yeah, push one and then
see if this works.
Yeah, push that one first. And then the other ones would go on top. Hopefully we get somewhere. So what was the ghost risks and rewards?
What would you say? What would you say are the risks and rewards at the minute?
That's difficult because there is. So the goal is clear: risks and rewards. There is not much for you to choose, as in you have to go through here. You can, I guess there is a bit of, do I become small so I don't hit the ceiling, or do I try to parkour and not switch and save time?
But beyond that, I think that's part of it, right? Is that again, there's not this concept of like, what am I being judged on? Because if I'm being judged on time, then it's a case of, do I recklessly and carelessly try and get through this, or do I take my time and play it safe? Or are we being scored by the number of times that we hit a spike and die? In which case, again, I've got some idea of risk versus reward in order to. Oh, that wasn't going to work. Play it safe.
But in this case, or be reckless.
Or even multiple routes where again one is safer or faster or whatever.
Yeah, that's a classic.
So I would say, in terms of goals, risks, and rewards, I would say there's a pretty clear goal and a limited set of risks and rewards.
So would you say that's between a pass and satisfactory, or because
So that would be
the goal.
a good versus a pass almost. So I would say that kind of averages out to a satisfactory.
Yeah, coherent.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's a little generous to say a goal of get to the end of the level is a fully coherent goal, but it is. It kind of is, right? It's very obvious what we're doing, and equally the goal, the risks and rewards are. Because it's like, oh no, I did it again. You made a good point of the deciding which phase to be in when you're jumping. Do you want the double jump, or do you want to be small and have a bit more precision and a smaller hitbox for when you're trying to get over stuff? I think that is probably like they're saving grace a little bit there, so it's not it's not fully limited, because there is some amount of decision making that I'm having to do in order to decide, do I want A versus B in a way.
Yeah. So
again, another slight bug with that checkpoint not always working, but
that's which leads us to pacing.
Didn't I already come this way?
You have the last box.
Oh, that's right. It's at the end of this bit. Okay, so pacing.
Yeah.
So I would say we haven't got all the way to the end yet, but right now I would say we've got pretty relative, like good ascendant pacing. Like it definitely escalates quite a bit. So obviously the tutorial is nice and smooth. We've got some puzzles leading up to this bit that are relatively okay to get past. And then this one has been a bit of a challenge, both in terms of the precision and the thinking I need to do in order to decide where do these boxes go.
Yeah. And then, double. Okay, let's see.
So is this actually going to make all the difference?
Yeah, you can. I hope you can push that. Yeah.
Hey. Is this box going to be big enough? I have a horrible feeling. Oh no, it's alright, we did it.
Oh no, yeah.
Alright, away we go. You remember when I said I'm so glad I don't have to switch form midway? I'm going to have to here? No, I can make that jump.
I don't think, yeah.
Good.
Oh, but that's... It's still going on, so that's quite a...
Yeah, they've actually put together a relatively substantial level here.
And it's not like just randomly put stuff. There is thought behind them, or at least it feels like.
Yeah, like
for example, the box puzzle.
Yeah, some escalation.
Oh.
No, it's alright.
Yeah, that's a bug.
I don't have to do that bit again. It's fine.
Oh yeah. Just have to walk back.
The box should still be there. But yeah, okay, that's a bit of an annoying bug.
Yeah, I mean, that gives us time to talk about the...
You're right, it does.
Pacing.
So
as we were saying...
So a good would be it rises over time in a coherent pattern. I feel like we're probably there at least. Again, we haven't necessarily seen the climax, but... Like, yeah, there's definitely an escalation. I definitely feel like it's getting more complicated, but at a sensible rate.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, it would need to be it does actually say well balanced, so it could even be up at the excellent.
I mean, yeah. Although, It does. Is there enough for it to be well balanced? Or as in...
Oh, in terms of the mechanics we're having to utilize. Yeah.
I mean, they're definitely starting to use more, or it feels like they're starting to use a bit more of them in different ways. But, and again, I guess there may be a lot of the level left, and
That's true, but again, we did ask for a small prototype where we
exactly,
could see all of the
yeah.
content in, I think, 10 minutes, and we're probably over 10 minutes at this point. But that said,
Yeah.
So I think you're right in that maybe it doesn't quite hit the excellent. So despite it being like pretty well balanced, perhaps it's not the looking for the combination of their mechanics. So we're using them individually kind of at the moment, but actually you're right, maybe seeing them like start to be combined rather than just individually getting harder might be dang it.
Yeah.
So I would still say it's at least between good and excellent.
Yeah. That's
I'm
what
glad I
I
have you
was
with me for
thinking
this one
as
because
well.
it's rare that I get to be the good cop. Normally I have to be the bad cop. There we go.
I mean, in this case, it's... Oh.
Why this jump is suddenly flummoxing me.
Yeah, you did it the first time. It's
No,
beginners.
not again. Do the checkpoints have limited uses, do you reckon? Is it I failed at it 3 times and get sent all the way back to the start?
I mean, try on this one.
I don't want to go all the way back to the start of that. Okay, so I think we put that between a good and an excellent, and we move on because we are we are going to talk about some other games at some point. Tutorial.
So
I quite like their tutorial. It's all done gradually. It's all nicely aligned with play. They they ensure that the player has understood each concept before moving on to the next one, purely by dint of their level design. I think that's nicely done. I think they've already hit an excellent. Would we say it's fully done through play and level design?
That's
I don't know if it's fully. I don't think it hits the prizeworthy. I think it hits the excellent.
Yeah.
And that's partly because the so for example the block puzzle and things like that are just a case of here is a block, push the block, rather than having like the what am I trying to say, like a puzzle or a process kind of with the so like I said, they've got a tutorial that they can't skip, whereas if it was a case of here is a fun level that is teaching you this as you go, that is what I would say is fully aligned with play. As it is, if I restarted this right now, I'd have to go through a tutorial bit and then I'd get to play the actual game. Whereas to be fully aligned, if they can integrate that tutorial into the full game as it goes.
Yeah. So yeah, that puts us at the excellent.
Okie doke. Let's see if I can. No. Okay. I guess we're not getting to the end of this game. Core dynamic. What would you say is the core dynamic of this game?
What was the one with the puzzles? I'm blanking right now.
I would call it spatial.
Yeah, spatial reasoning.
Because we're given a space, the whole goal is to navigate through it. All of our tools feed into that. Is that what they have said it is?
I mean, so they say our core dynamic is problem solving based on ability switching.
Okay. So not one of the core dynamics that we sort of talked about in the lectures that we were kind of looking for. However,
look at the second paragraphs. Some of the secondary dynamics that make up our game include spatial reasoning and survival-based platforming.
And again, it's not a case of necessarily using the exact phrasing that we've used. And the list of example core dynamics doesn't necessarily cover every possible core dynamic. But yeah, puzzle solving by itself is a bit too is not the kind of thing we're looking for. But calling it spatial reasoning and saying that is the fun thing about the game, is looking at the space you've got and figuring out how you're going to get through it. That's what we're talking about.
I think they've misinterpreted between a core dynamic and a mechanic.
Yes,
in
and
the first
I would
paragraph.
say the fact that they call one of their secondary dynamics survival-based platforming, probably misses the mark a little bit, because we've already talked in this video about what makes a survival game, and this isn't that. This is 100% spatial reasoning. So if we forgive their communication of the terminology, I would say their actual game has a pretty clear core dynamic, and the mechanics are
supported.
It's all about getting through a space, either extra jumps, getting through small gaps, pushing around blocks. All of the puzzles are about presenting an interesting way of getting through the space, whether that's jumping puzzles or block pushing or so on and so on and so on. So for that, let's again bring up my mark scheme. What have we got here? So I think they're already at the good. A clear core dynamic supported by the primary mechanics.
Yeah.
I would say probably at the excellent, because again, it's got an integrated set of mechanics. All of them are pulling in the same direction. They're all fulfilling that core dynamic. I think the thing keeping them from the prize-worthy is that, yeah, their explanation of it doesn't necessarily show they've understood what we mean by a core dynamic. Their design kind of does, but yeah, the fact that they call it a survival game makes me wonder if maybe they haven't fully grasped it. But in terms of their design, I think it comes through relatively well. And lastly, but by no means leastly again, feedback. So again, we asked them to receive some feedback on one of the many lab sessions that we put on, plus the Discord, plus obviously contacting the lecturers by email and so on for feedback on their game. And it looks like they haven't recorded that for this either. So they haven't mentioned what feedback they got or what changes they've made. So unfortunately, we've got to mark that one down as absent, which is always a shame, because it's
10% of the...
Yeah, exactly. But otherwise, you know, again, it's a neat little platformer. I like the way that they've got a set of like different mechanics that they've based it around, you know, switching between forms. That works really nicely. I might even at some point come back to this and see if I can get to the end.
Yeah.
Okie doke. All right, let's move on to our next game. Okay, and this is our last game for this batch, Taco Cat. So a nice little palindrome there. I wonder if that's going to be thematically relevant for the game. Can you tell I've played this one in the lab? So we've got tutorial level, we've got level 1A, 1B, and level 2. Interesting way of splitting it. I'm not sure why they didn't just do 1, 2, and 3, but sure. Let's start with the tutorial. Ooh, that's a nice transition.
Oh, wow.
Okay, we've got A and D. All right. So we've got our Taco Cat. Taco Cat can run. Taco Cat can jump. Hold space, longer jump. Ooh, and we got a taco. So again, I don't know if it's recorded where we've collected that or anything, but kind of nice that like they put it over the jump. They don't tell us about collecting it, but just by doing that jump, we have learned we can collect tacos. J, what does J do? Nothing by itself, but if I'm in midair, okay. So it's double jump. I feel like space maybe would have been better for that, but it still works. It's still functional. There's a checkpoint. It's labeled checkpoint. We've got a moving platform. Wait patiently for it to... This is always the problem with moving platforms in platforms. If you're against the clock, they feel really punishing. Luckily, I don't think we are for this. Okay, we've got some spikes over there. So let's see if we go like that. Oh, there's another taco. So there's a checkpoint down there, but we've got a taco up here, and we know we can collect tacos, so let's go do that. Nice little ding when we hit the checkpoint. Ooh,
yeah.
What's this? So we've got a smelled the taco from above. So we've got a mirror here.
Okay.
So I was going to say I'm only controlling the one on the left. I guess I'm technically controlling both. But
yeah.
Ooh. So if we go down there, we vanish again. If we make this jump, ooh, I can see why their camera snaps the way it does, but on this little transition bit, it's a little bit jarring. There we go, jump. Oh, okay, we've lost Cat again. So here's the thing. I really like this mechanic, and I like the way they have done this in some of their other puzzles. I don't know if this is a great way of introducing it.
Maybe they'll...
Like, we see the reflection, and then we immediately go away from it. Now, we'll have a look at the next level. The next level, good. Oh, there's a... Look at that, there's a taco right above us, but it's stuck. How are we going to get it? We've also got a key now. So here we go. So this is our first proper level with the mirror, I guess, if we can make this jump. There we go. So far so standard. We're just mirrored. So if I go to this one, aha! And equally, if I go here, now because the other cat can go through all of that brick, we can go through all of that brick. And I feel like,
I mean, okay.
I can see why they decided to gradually introduce it, but I think even just having like a small platform to show us like moving in tandem with our other cat would have been kind of nice, rather than just seeing it and then immediately running away from it. No, wait, wrong way. I'm really bad at doing stuff mirrored, which doesn't bode hugely well.
Oh, is it? Oh yeah, it is mirrored, yeah. As in the controls are also mirrored, not just the...
Well, the controls for...
yeah, they're normal, but you're looking at... you're looking at the other cat.
So as long as I only look at left cat, everything is fine. But unfortunately...
Yeah.
There we go, one taco. It's going to move that way, and I can jump up here. So again, we've got a key. We're not told what it does, but through the level design, there's a key, there's a door. We can probably figure that out. Because of the level design, we have to use it. So we had one key, the key is now gone. So if we want to get through that door, we've got to find another key somewhere. So this bit... Oh, okay, so it's not the mirror cat that lets us go through the walls, it's the fact that there isn't this grey texture on it. So it's a hidden passageway.
And you need a key for that.
1 times key. But okay, so what happens if we come around this way? There's our mirror again. And there's a platform over there on the right that if I do this, there we go. But again, I like this puzzle. The fact, and I know why we can't see the reflection of the cat, because the mirror's up here, because there has to be a doorway to get through. But it feels like because we need the mirror cat to solve this, we should be able to see the mirror cat here. Spikes.
Yeah.
Part of the reason I'm being so nitpicky about this is because I think the fundamental mechanic is really, really good. So I don't... Where do I want to... I'm trying to... So I can't jump, like, up here because there's spikes there. So I want to go this way.
Yeah.
There we go. And jumping this way,
now you want
really careful.
Double jump.
Oh, no. Clipped the edge. Alright. I suspect this might be one of those platforming segments that we're at for a little while. So while we're doing that, shall we start talking about the about the mark scheme?
Yeah, we can start with the presentation.
So
and
as
specifically graphics, audio, information design. So graphics-wise, I think it looks really nice, and you know there's like little effects on the movement of the cat.
Yeah, I mean there's some like anomalies, like you know the texture of the fridge and the door and the background are a little bit different, but nothing like particularly bad, right? Otherwise, information design-wise, it's relatively clear what all the components are. Like the fact that the moving platforms have a different texture to the static platforms. the fact that
yeah.
no, I did it again. But also, just that actually, the little level transition is like a very a very small detail and quite a simple technique. But it actually makes a surprising amount of like difference just in terms of polish of, you know, like fading between scenes rather than just a hard cut. It actually works quite nicely.
Yeah, that's true. And what about the audio?
We got some
we
music.
have music.
I think there's like a ding at some point, I think.
Yeah, and I hear sound effects when moving or walking or...
Yeah. Quite subtle. Obviously, I've turned them down a little bit for the video, but why can't I do that jump? I did this jump in the expo. You all saw me. It's because I'm trying to...
And the Takura starts from
Yeah.
the checkpoint, I see.
Okay, I'm pretty
You
sure...
need a double jump, I think.
I was double jumping.
Huh.
I think I need to hold space to jump a little bit higher and then only double jump at the peak is the problem. Because of the fact that I'm trying to do this sort of in mirror. There we go.
So that gave you one key.
How do I get this taco? You know, I'm going to worry about that later. So this was the bit that kept killing me in the expo. I could just turn around right now. Just go straight for the exit.
Oh,
There we go.
Oh.
There we go. There's the key. That was...
Oh no. Okay, that was...
Alright, maybe I do just... Oh, I've still got 2 keys. That's fine.
Okay. Yeah.
I get this.
So...
I get this. I get this. There we go. Do I go for the final taco? Don't think I do.
And what about... So... we got to information design, I think.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, there we go.
As you
all
said,
3 tacos.
Yeah.
Let me bring up the mark scheme. Information design. Oh god, we're still on presentation, aren't we? Okay, so I would say we're up at professional. It's complete and effective. Is it impactful? Complete, effective, and appealing. I think it's good. I don't know if it gets quite there, just because, yeah, again, some of like the little differences between the assets that they've used, but mostly because I think some of the extra feedback. Actually, no, I take maybe partway. It'd be nice if there was some
like
more
the
feedback.
transition.
Yeah, exactly. That's just what I was thinking.
Stuff like that. That's completely unnecessary. Or I wouldn't say completely unnecessary, but it's like a polish.
Ooh. Okay, new mechanics being introduced. So I can grab onto a wall and then hold D to slide.
Oh wow.
Okay.
That's, for example, this is very nicely done. How it's sprites of the cut.
Yeah, actually, that's kind of nice.
I think that's nice information design. Like, again, something that's not really necessary, but it's like a really nice thing.
I like also that they, getting on to like level design and pacing a little bit, but I like that they have a checkpoint there. That's pretty handy.
Yeah. Okay, so what about the mechanics, controls and bugs?
Oh, heck. So I didn't see this level in the expo.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. This is going to be another one of the ones where I struggle to play and talk. But yeah, in terms of mechanics, controls feel great. It's the choice of double jump control is a little bit odd, but you know it works perfectly fine. Otherwise, what else? Yeah, we've not really seen any particular bugs. Mechanics are fine.
And there's quite a few mechanics.
They've got a decent set of like standard controls, like double jumping, moving platforms, spikes, all of those kinds of things. And then I think pairing it with the mechanic of the mirror cat.
Yeah, and then there's also keys and doors. So the doors and keys thing.
Oh yeah.
Which is again. That's
also we've got to collect all our tacos as well.
Although one thing that I don't think I can see, is there a taco counter? Does it say somewhere 5 out of 10 tacos or something?
There is on the menu, but there doesn't seem to be on our
on
the screen. Does that?
Okay. So let's see.
So I guess in terms of information design, that's another thing that.
Yeah. So again, I think we did good that it's between good and excellent.
Yeah, I agree.
And not just.
So in terms of this, I would almost be inclined to say, is it between good and excellent again?
So
we're talking about we're getting to higher complexity and no bugs. So I haven't seen any bugs. The mechanics all work really nicely together. Higher complexity, I think. So, interestingly, although the actual implementation of the mirror mechanic, I would say it's... I'm trying to think how I would do it. I imagine it would be relatively straightforward, but the integration of it with the other controls, I think, ups the complexity sufficiently. I would say I'm having fun. That's fun. I would say it hits the excellent for that.
That's.
I take it back. I'm not having fun. No.
I guess that leads us to the next bit.
Yes, which is where we're talking about the brief again. So, how well they've made a level design, how well they've made a tutorial.
Yeah. And we can start with goals, risks, and rewards. And I think in this case they actually do have for example, the tacos. They're completely unnecessary to complete the level.
Yes,
but you can decide to get them.
Yeah,
but what's the reward?
Classic, yeah. Well, I think I mean, the reward is the knowledge that you've got on all the tacos, I think, which is perfectly fine, right? It's what differentiates the expert player from the novice player, and the expert player effectively has the satisfaction of I can do this extra challenge.
Yeah. And wow, okay.
Final level.
Oh, and another music soundtrack.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of nice. Oh, we're going to be here. I don't know if we're going to get past this one.
Yeah. So let's get back to the Ghost Risk and Rewards. So they have a clear goal.
Yep, they sure do.
Get to the end.
Like, the levels are small enough that you could... The previous levels were small enough that the path to the level was the path to the goal rather was relatively obvious, but they still had enough sprinkling of checkpoints so that if you got stuck on one particular bit, you could reset your progress quite nicely.
So risks, and there, as we said, there's risks as well with the tacos. So that's basically the risks and rewards bit.
Yeah.
So would you say it's clear, coherent, and well balanced? Are they well balanced? In our case.
Sorry, distracted. Well balanced. Difficult to say, but I think so for the most part. I don't think I'm going for that last taco. So the fact that there was just a taco there, maybe not, right? It's like
Yeah.
But overall, I think they kind of are.
So maybe between good and excellent.
Yeah, I think the fact that they reset when you die makes me worried about all the ones I've collected so far. But yes, other than that, I think I agree. Maybe I only have to collect them once. Again, there's like some of these tacos seem pretty easy to get. Maybe that's just hubris.
Yeah. And I guess that also leads us to pacing, which I think it's... So clearly there's pacing, it rises over time.
Look at that.
Oh,
I've
well,
got
there's
3 reflections now.
3. Okay, that's
so now that we're
even
speaking
more
about
complex.
pacing, that works really nicely. Like that's a clear escalation of we've gone from platforming with a reflection, platforming with 2 reflections. That works really well, I think. Coherent and well balanced. I mean, I've been banging my head against some of these. I think I'm going to continue to do that. But that doesn't necessarily make it unbalanced.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Yeah, coherent and well balanced pattern. I mean, yeah, I think it's there. So a prize-worthy, for example, would be well-balanced well-balanced alternative sets of goals, risks, and rewards. And I don't think we have that.
Yeah, I don't think there's like an alternative. Like, you know, there's not a lot of choice in what you're doing other than do you go for the tacos, but it's not like a game where you can where you're ranked differently on different things. So, you know, time versus number of deaths versus number of collections and so on. But otherwise, I think it solidly hits the excellent. Like the actual the difficulty curve and that tension curve and the way they've managed it works really nicely together. Tutorial. Am I going to reset my progress in order just to get back to
go back?
Yeah, I think I probably am. Let's go back to the tutorial just so that we can refresh our memories. So starting off with basic controls, and the fact that it's, I don't know if you'd call it diegetic so much as, you know, fixed in place of the level. So it's not like it's contextual, but you obviously you run past it when you're done with it, so it kind of is naturally. The taco there, weirdly, I think is actually, well, not weirdly, like it's a good bit of tutorial through level design. They're teaching you to jump, and then through the design of the level, they teach you an extra little bit as well. The fact that they then do that bit twice may be unnecessary, but then again, it's an important mechanic.
Yeah.
Because oh no, you can just press J by itself.
Ah, okay.
Okay, so it's just an alternate. I guess it's like a dash jump. Because space I can control, whereas J is all. So I've got to be running to use it. Okay. I wonder if that's because this character is an asset and they just used it, or if they deliberately designed it that way, and if so, why? But okay, fair enough. So we do some of the tutorial with explicitly telling us the controls, which is nice. They still have a thing to explain or to ensure that we've understood it, like obviously making us jump over something to ensure we've jumped. That little sprinkle of putting the taco in as well. And then this kind of bit that again reinforces some of that, introduces mechanics like the spike, the moving platform and so on, even adds like a little explanation of the fact that there are tacos scattered around. I guess it doesn't explicitly say they're optional.
Although that, yeah.
But I think other than that, you know, like it's pretty comprehensive. Again, I've got small nitpicks about the way they introduce the mirror thing. It would be nice if they on the one hand, I can see why they've not, because they want it to be, you know, a gradual introduction to the mechanics, so you're not overwhelmed. But equally, it feels odd to have the mirror there and then immediately have it go away. But hey, maybe they're just building mystery for level 2.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah. So that means, let's see, we have gradual explanation. Controls fully aligned with play. That's, I think, at least at the good. Excellent would be.
I think it's at the excellent.
Oh yeah. Sometimes
communicated
through
level design.
Yeah.
Again, not, I wouldn't say fully communicated. There's some aspects like the what was I going to say? Actually, even the introduction of the keys kind of is a nice touch. So like the first time you see a door, there's a key next to it. The door opens, key next time.
Yeah.
So again, I don't think it's fully at the top end of prizeworthy, because there's a few things like the fact that the tacos are optional, which isn't fully communicated
explicitly,
and like some of the way that they introduce the mirror. But I think actually they might be halfway there.
Yeah, I think I agree.
Like, no mirror.
So,
which takes us on to core dynamic.
The core dynamic, yeah.
I've got a very clear idea in my head of what it is. What have they said it is?
So let me open it up. Spatial reasoning. So the core dynamic spatial reasoning revolves around mirror-based duality. Yeah, so it is spatial reasoning.
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
And the mirror also makes it even more spatial.
Yep, definitely. And like I said before, I think like the inclusion of that as a mechanic gives them a lot more complexity that they can work with in designing their levels and so on.
Yeah, exactly. And then they have a second core dynamic that they mention, focuses on exploration and collection.
That's two secondary core dynamics, and I've got I've got feelings about that. The exploration, I don't think is quite right. Obviously, you're having to navigate the level to find the end, but that's not the fun thing. The fun thing is the navigate. The fun thing is like navigating the level, not exploring the level, if that makes sense. I know that sounds like sounds close to the same thing, but exploration is about being excited to uncover more of the map for kind of its own sake. So classic example, Skyrim, right? You're always pushed to be like, oh, what's over the next mountain? What am I going to find? It's all about discovery and exploring stuff, and it doesn't even have to be about maps. It can be something like if you've ever played an idle game like Cookie Clicker, part of the fun thing about the game is not just making the number,
what happens,
but it's like, oh, what crazy thing am I going to unlock now? So I don't think this is necessarily exploration. Collection, I think they might be onto something. I don't think it's necessarily as strong a supporting dynamic as they think, but one of the defining features I always say about collections is having a collection and filling and completing that collection. So this is my taco collection, and the fact that they've left blank spaces for the ones I've not got is the one that I think says they have deliberately made this a collection game.
Made a choice.
Yeah, I think there's ways of improving this, right? By like sorting it by level, so I know which level I need to go back to.
Oh yeah.
Having nicer pixel art of tacos, maybe. Some of them are a little bit chunky.
Yeah.
And kind of like you said, it is at the minute kind of only its own reward. Like the only reason I would care about filling out this sprite sheet effectively is to prove how good I am at the game, and that's fine, that's valid. But there's probably a little more they could have done to it. But in terms of the core dynamic, 100% spatial reasoning, definitely supported by all of the mechanics. I would even say, again, it's pushing prizeworthy, because this one they have definitely thought about like the collection aspect is a clear core dynamic. It supports it's not just they've thrown in collection as well. It supports the core dynamic because they've said to collect the stuff, you have to engage even more with the spatial reasoning aspect of it. Some of it is maybe, I don't know if is it undermined by the fact that sometimes there's just a taco next to a checkpoint, or is that again effectively throwing a bone to novice players and letting them get some tacos so that they're motivated to get them?
I think that makes more sense, but yeah.
So I think there's ways that they could have strengthened the collection dynamic even more, but I think it's between excellent and a praiseworthiness.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So that brings us on to feedback. I am pleased to announce that these folks have actually recorded some of the feedback they got and some of the changes they made. Do you want to take us through some of the changes that they said they made based on the feedback?
Let's say so. They basically have 6 major or 3 minor and 3 major points. The minor ones are stuff like changing how big the spikes were, some instructions not being clear and changing that, and stuff like general level design. That
I was gonna say that sounds like stuff that they have. What's the word? Discovered through user test. Yeah, play testing exactly. Which is absolutely good, and I think all of those changes have made probably have made a positive impact on the game. But the feedback in particular that we're looking for is stuff they would have got from the module team during the lab sessions and so on. And it does look like they've included some of that under the major changes.
So the first one is about having a timer in the game. So previously they say they had a timer, but because having a timer there and you now have to think, I have to finish the level quickly, they say it detracted from the main core dynamics and all that, which I agree.
Yep.
So they removed it.
Agree. It does feel like I don't know if we covered this in risk versus reward as well, but we do seem to have 2 different paths here.
Wait.
I don't know if that's a full path or if it is just a bonus taco, which we definitely did cover.
It might be a bonus one.
Yeah, so in terms of if they had a timer, like they could have absolutely included a timer. That would have pushed their dynamic a bit closer to something like Race to the End, which would have been fine. They could have built the game more around that. But I think having if they wanted to keep it spatial reasoning, that was absolutely the right move.
Yeah. And then if they don't specifically mention which feedback was made, if any, by the demonstrators in the lab, but the first one sounds kind of...
Yeah, the most...
Yeah, because the other one would be, let's see, the feedback was that exploring didn't feel connected to the main idea of mirrors, so we changed the level design so that mirrors can lead to hidden tackles.
Oh, okay. I'm coming back. I see where they're coming from with the exploration.
Right, yeah, because they say
I will still
tackles.
I still think that's it's kind of exploration. I will come around to it. I think it's still primarily collection though, right? You are searching for these collectibles, but it's the collecting them that is the intrinsic fun, not the exploring. But okay, now I understand where they're coming from on that. Didn't connected to the main idea of mirrors and reflections. Change the level design so that the mirrors can lead to hidden tacos and secret paths. Okay, again, I think that's a really good change because they're right. If their main mechanic and like the main novelty and unique selling point of the game is the mirror mechanic, then to make that secondary dynamic serve that, you have to put the collection in such a way that it makes the player engage with that particular mechanic. So by hiding certain tacos in the mirror world, that's a really nice way of doing it. The secret paths I can kind of take or leave. Like, it kind of works when they're revealed in the mirror world, but when it's just it's a brick wall that you can go through, is less interesting than some of their other puzzles, I think. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And the last one is people liked our game, so we made more of it, effectively, which is, yeah, fair enough. Not really what we
that's a
cover in the
major
scope of the video,
change.
but just people liked it, so we made another level. Yeah, fair enough. And in fact, I mean, we've already said we quite like this one, so I would say, you know, maybe after we've done Let's Playing it, they'll make some more levels as well.
Yeah. So let's see that.
I was going to say, I was about to wrap up, but we do actually have to give them a mark for feedback, don't we?
Yeah, exactly.
So I would say it feels like it's sort of hitting around a good. So they've addressed the feedback, they've made some successful changes. There's not nearly so, because they haven't sort of been clear about, you know, which feedback they got from the demonstrators and it's difficult to sort of pull out which bits they have interpreted. Again, I might even be inclined to put them between a good and an excellent because of the which bit?
How much?
Interestingly, particularly because of that second point of the exploring didn't feel connected to the main mechanics, so that's how we sort of fixed it. That's kind of an interesting one. So making sure that the collection serves the primary dynamic a bit more by integrating into the puzzles, rather than just what was the first one? Yeah, just removing the timer because it detracts from it is fine and simple, but the interpretation of incorporating something into the puzzle design is kind of nice to see. So yeah, for that I think that's probably between a good and an excellent as well.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
Good. Okie doke. So that is our last game for this batch. So thank you very much for watching, and we will see you again for another video very soon.